There are some places on Earth that defy logic. Monuments so massive, so precise, and so old that even with our modern technology, we still can't say for sure how they were built. And no, we're not talking about legends or myths here. We're talking about real physical structures that continue to baffle engineers, archaeologists, and historians to this day. So today we're diving into 5 ancient mysteries that raise the burning question: how did they build this? In the very heart of Lebanon, in a place once known to the Romans as Heliopolis, lies a structure that still makes engineers today scratch their heads. The ruins of Baalbek are impressive enough on their own. Towering columns, sprawling courtyards, and a layout that screams grandeur. But buried beneath that grandeur, there is still one question we still can't answer. How did ancient builders move stone so massive that even with modern technology we would struggle? Hidden within Baalbek's foundations lie 3 massive stone blocks embedded into a platform wall known collectively as the trilithon. Each of these stones weighs between 800 and 1,000 tons. To put that into perspective, that's heavier than a fully loaded space shuttle, or about 150 adult elephants. And just nearby, in the same ancient quarry, lies an even more colossal enigma: a single stone slab left unfinished and partially buried, known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman. Archaeologists have estimated that it weighs 1,200 tons, and even more massive stones have since been discovered at the site, some nearing 1,600 tons, making them some of the most massive stones ever quarried by human hands. And here's the real mystery: it's not really just about their size, it's about everything. The precision, the planning, the purpose. Why did ancient builders go to such extremes to quarry stones that modern machines would struggle to handle? And this is the part that has engineers baffled to this day. The problem isn't just that these stones are big, is that we don't really know how they were moved. Not really. These stones were quarried from limestone bedrock roughly about a kilometer away from the actual site. And that might not sound like much, until you imagine moving a 1,000-ton stone in uneven ground, uphill, and being placed with flawless precision. Modern cranes can lift about 500 tons, and that's under optimal conditions. To move a 1,200-ton block today would require disassembling roads, lifting power lines, and bringing up in custom-engineered transport systems. And even then it's not guaranteed. Some even argue that that's not even possible today, not without cutting the stone into smaller pieces. And yet someone did it long ago. Without diesel, without metal tools, without wheels, it was done. We do not know what techniques they used. We don't even have records, we don't have blueprints, nothing. Now make no mistake, the Romans certainly built on top of the site. But many suspect the platform itself, and especially the trilithon, predates them by hundreds, possibly thousands of years. So we are left with the same impossible question: why would anyone choose to work with stones of such unimaginable size? And here's a deeper question: how did they succeed at doing something that we might not even be able to do today? High above the city of Cusco, in the thin mountain air of the Peruvian Andes, there's a place that doesn't seem to make any sense: Sacsayhuaman. At first glance, it looks like an old fortress, its giant stone walls zigzagging across the land like the back of a massive stone animal. But when you get closer to the site, the questions, they start to pile up, because this site looks completely impossible. The stone blocks aren't shaped like normal bricks. They come in all different sizes and angles, some with up to 12 sides. And yet somehow they all fit together with a precision that defies logic, so tightly that you can't even slide a sheet of paper between them. And here's the wild part: there's not really any binding agent holding these stones together, just perfect cuts and gravity. These walls have stood for over 500 years. They've survived earthquakes that flattened other buildings. Even the Spanish tried to dismantle them and completely failed. Today, even with our high-tech tools, recreating something like this would be very, very difficult. So here's a big mystery: How did ancient workers, without wheels, without metal tools, without any of that, manage to create something so precise and so lasting? Some of these stones weigh over 100 tons, about the same as a large passenger jet fully loaded with people. And yet, ancient builders somehow cut them, lifted them into place, and placed them interlocked with stones of completely different shapes. And here's where it gets even weirder. There are no visible tool marks, no chisel lines, no scratches. Some alternative research suggests that they may have had some secret technique, maybe like a chemical softening process or some type of stonework that has been completely lost to time. Others suggest that they used basic stone tools and just worked extremely slowly and precisely. But if that's true, where are the mistakes, the broken pieces, the trial runs? To say there's absolutely zero of that would be not true. But there is very little to go around. And this isn't just one wall, it's many. Layer after layer of completely different shapes that somehow form a structure so strong, it's still standing today. Even modern builders admit that this strange pattern of interlocking stones is definitely harder than the normal way. It's not faster and it's not easier. And if it was just meant for defense, why go to such lengths? Why not just use smaller, more manageable stones? So we're left with the same question. How did ancient builders manage to build something so advanced that it still stands today and still makes us wonder if we're missing something very important about how it was done? In the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, there are two small islands called Malta and Gozo. And on these islands lies a very puzzling mystery, ancient stone temples that seem way too advanced for the time they were built. Places like Nidra and Gigantia were constructed between 3600 and 2500 BC. That makes them one of the oldest buildings still standing in the world today. Older than Stonehenge, older than the Great Pyramid of Giza. But these aren't just ancient ruins. They're strategically designed, astronomically aligned, and architecturally they're very impressive. This means that the builders didn't just stack stones on top of one another. They understood the sky, they understood the sun, and they understood time. Their surfaces are carved with elegant spirals, window-like openings, and massive stone tables cut from a single block. The most famous of these temples, called Gigantia, literally means the place of giants, because according to legend, it was built by a giantess. And here's the truly shocking part. All of this was built during the Stone Age. The people who built these advanced temples left behind no writing, no plans, and no records. And they didn't really have what you would expect for a job like this. They had no wheels, they had no metal tools, and they didn't have domesticated animals for loads. And yet the stones used weighed 10 to 20 tons each, about as heavy as a school bus. Some were moved from miles away. Some theories suggest that they rolled the stones using round rocks, used wooden sledges, or maybe even slid them using animal fat. But none of that really explains the engineering and precision of the site. And here's another layer of mystery. We don't even really know why they built them. Most archaeologists think the temples were used for religious or ceremonial purposes. And ceremonial in archaeological language basically means we have no idea what these were for. Thanks for that one, Metatron. We don't even know what gods they worship or what rituals they performed. And then, around 2500 BC, it all stops. No signs of war, no famine, no catastrophe, just silence. The people vanished. They left behind no written stories, no signs of migration, nothing. So what happened to the builders of these amazing temples? Why or how did a culture so advanced for its time simply disappear? How did a small island society build something so incredible and then simply vanished? Now, before we go to our next example, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you love ancient mysteries and you want to keep exploring the past through these stories. High up in the mountains of Bolivia, near the ancient city of Tiwanaku, lies a place that is among the strangest ancient sites of the world, Pumapunku. If we take a look at the precision of the stonework, it shouldn't be possible for a civilization without advanced tools. These aren't just rocks, they're massive blocks of andesite, a super hard volcanic rock, carved with shapes and angles so perfect they seem unnatural. The most famous pieces are called H-blocks. They have perfect 90-degree corners, super straight edges, tiny intricate cutouts and holes that look like they were made by machines. Now here's where it gets wild. Pumapunku is actually older than the Inca civilization. It was built by the Tiwanaku, a people who, as far as we know, had no writing, no wheels, and no advanced metal tools. So how did they manage to carve out one of the most precisely engineered sites on Earth? Let's talk about the stone, andesite. It's incredibly tough, about 7 out of 10 on the most hardness scale. That's right above a steel nail for reference. Here's another problem. No tools capable of carving it have ever been found at Pumapunku. Some scientists suggest that they may have used stone or copper tools or slowly rubbed the stone with sand to grind it down. But those methods are slow, rough, and don't explain the machine-like precision of the final product. Some modern engineers have said that to replicate this today, even with modern technology, it would be incredibly difficult. And Pumapunku isn't just mysterious because of its carving. Its layout has sparked all kinds of theories. Some believe it was a temple. Other wilder ideas suggest that it may have been a harbor, a massive gate, or a launch pad, depending on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go. But one thing's clear, something catastrophic happened here. Some of the largest stones, weighing over 100 tons, are broken and scattered like they were thrown by an enormous force, like a series of earthquakes. So we're left with these questions. Who built Pumapunku? Why did they build it? And how did a civilization that predates the Inca manage to pull that off? It's the most famous building in the world, and yet we still don't know how it was really built. The Great Pyramid of Giza has stood at the edge of Egypt's desert for over 4,500 years. It's the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing today. And despite all of our textbooks and documentaries, we're not really sure how it was done. There are very strong suggestions of how it may have been done, but nothing conclusive, despite what Egyptologists say. Some say it was simply a tomb for the pharaoh Khufu. Others think it was something more, a giant power plant, or even a message from a lost civilization far more advanced than we've been taught. Even the later Egyptians didn't really know how it was made. In the 400s BC, the Greek historian Herodotus visited Egypt and wrote that the locals were not sure how it was built. Imagine asking someone in Rome how the Colosseum was made, and they simply go, "We don't know." And the Great Pyramid isn't just big, it's almost too big to believe. It's made out of 2.3 million blocks of limestone and granite. Some of them weigh up to 80 tons. The entire structure weighs over 6 million tons and originally stood at 481 feet. That made it the tallest building for nearly 4,000 years. But the size isn't the strangest part, it's the precision. The pyramid's base covers 13 acres. Each side is aligned almost perfectly with true north, south, east, and west. The difference between the longest and the shortest side, about 58 millimeters. That's about the width of your thumb. That's way better accuracy than most modern buildings today. Now, let's go inside. There's a narrow tunnel called the Descending Passage that drops at a perfect 26.6-degree angle, running straight for over 300 feet through solid rock. No lasers, no drills, just impossible precision. Above the King's Chamber, there are 5 relieving chambers designed to spread the weight of the massive stones above. This is an engineering trick that modern architects didn't figure out until centuries ago. Then there's this. Tiny shafts lead out from the King's and Queen's chambers to the pyramid's exterior. You can't crawl through them. They serve no clear structural purpose. Some scientists believe that they were aligned with the stars, like Orion's belt or Sirius, on the exact night the pyramid was completed. So was it built to connect to the heavens? Now consider this. The red granite used in the King's Chamber came from Aswan, nearly 500 miles away. Dozens of stones, weighing up to 80 tons each, were transported across the desert. And here's something else. Inside of the Great Pyramid, there are almost no inscriptions. Some people say that there are 0 inscriptions, but that's not really true. An example is this cartouche which links the pyramid to the pharaoh Khufu. The authenticity of that cartouche, however, is still debated, because even the idea that this place was a tomb is not really proven. No mummy has ever been found inside. So what was this place really? A pharaoh's tomb? A power plant? I'll let you decide. So what do you think? Are these just examples of ancient ingenuity and forgotten methods? Or are we missing something else entirely? Whatever the answer, one thing is for sure. Our ancestors knew things that we still don't fully understand. And maybe, just maybe, these ancient puzzles are meant to make us question what we think we know. Let me know in the comments which mystery blew your mind the most, and if you want a part 2, there are many more to explore. Thank you so much for joining me for today's tale. If you like what you saw, if you learned anything new today, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, drop a like, comment, share this video with someone else. That is a very small button for you and a gigantic leap for my channel. Until the next tale, farewell, and may the gods smile upon you.